Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Randy again, my wife Tina.
Hi.
So today I want to do something a little different. I've done a lot of videos about me directly, but I really want to talk and let her do most of the talking this time. Again, I want to introduce you to my wife. I'll have her in other videos, but for this one, I want to start out having her kind of give her perspective and thoughts on interracial dating and relationships, marriage, and then after that, probably the second part, we'll be talking about her as a caregiver. For those of you that it's the first video you're watching, back in 23, discovered they had a brain tumor in my head through a lot of headaches and pain and everything that I was going through, and basically ended up having MRI and a biopsy to determine it was a benign tumor. But it's impacted my life in a lot of ways. But I want to really again talk about my caregiver perspective, what she's had to go through. So at this point, I'm going to pass it over to my wife Tina and let her kind of give you again first on the interracial dating and marriage, and then the caregiver. Tina?
Interracial dating. It's just like any other couples. You have your ups and downs. It's nothing to really do with race or anything like that. So I really don't have too much to say on that. We live in the Houston area. It's very diverse. And so I can't say that we have necessarily had faced any racial tension or anything like that in our area. At the end of the day, he's my husband, I'm his wife. We will argue over things like other couples, probably finances, maybe sometimes, or things around the house, picking up kids. If anything, we have had some more issues when it comes to blended families. And so that'll be something that we've probably talked about more than just being a couple who's black and being a couple who's white. That's all I have to say. I'm African American, so he's white. I can see if we had some major cultural differences, like if I was maybe from Africa or something like that, or
Do you want to talk a little bit about how we've had to understand like your thoughts and cultural ways of like handling things,
No,
or maybe your tone or
I
anything?
actually don't. I don't have any thoughts on that. It's more of you. I don't have any cultural thoughts. We're American, so I have no cultural thoughts and things like that. More so of you just being a little, I want to say, ignorant on certain things, but I don't think it has really majorly has impacted me. I think we, as black people, we tend to know more about white people's hair and stuff like that more than you have learned. But once again, it's like it could be just a man versus woman thing. You don't know about hair and how we deal with hair. So if I was a white woman, you still wouldn't understand my hair and what I go through. So
What about your perspectives? Kind of walk everybody through kind of, I guess, from the beginning in late 22, and I started getting headaches, and I kind of give them my version of how it was, but your perspective on that, then me going to the doctor, discovering I had to go into surgery, being in the hospital, and then 2 years post surgery with like the steroids and everything, how that's impacted you as a wife, in a relationship standpoint, the caregiver.
oh yeah. So in 2023, like as he stated, he's probably talked about it before, that he underwent surgery that wasn't supposed to be so as invasive, I guess.
It's very simple, like in and out of the hospital in 1 or 2 days.
Yeah. So anyway, in 2022, he was complaining. Well, actually, 2021, he was complaining about some headaches and certain things that he wasn't able to do, like cutting the grass for a long period of time. He'd get tired easily, and so I started hiring someone to cut the grass. And being in the sun, being in the heat, was starting to bother him. And so I kind of, because sometimes you know that sometimes men can be a little whiny when it comes to simple things as a cold, and so I kind of blew it off because he'll be laying on the bathroom floor and things like that in pain. So fast forward, so we went to a baseball game in Houston, and he wasn't already feeling that great when we went there, I think, from what I remember. And I told him that he needed to drink some fluids and things like that, and kind of go upstairs where the fans are, and he just said he was going to be okay. Well, he wasn't okay, and kind of slumped over and passed out. You know, it was very scary. He was very pale, very clammy, and so my stepson was there and kind of slapped him in the face to kind of wake him up. And so I had to go call the EMT that was there at the game, and they kind of carried him, I believe, on a stretcher, kind of cooled him down with ice and things like that. And so after going back and forth to the doctor just to see what was going on in his brain, what was going on with his health-wise, come to find out that he had a tumor and he had something called hydrocephalus. You may want to look that up.
For those who didn't know, I had, like I said, I have a
Yeah,
shunt
it's
in my head
pretty
right
much
there.
it's like your brain, that the fluid, your spinal fluid is backing up in your head. It's like a toilet bowl backing up, and so they put a shunt in his head so it can flow properly. So it was pressing against the ventricles in the head, and so it caused major headaches and like the head to swell and certain issues. But he never dealt with all the other issues that comes with hydrocephalus. So we're still trying to. We're always wondering, did he really need the VP shunt, because he didn't have all the other symptoms like the gait, walking, memory loss, and using the bathroom on himself and things like that. But this is what they said, you know, at the VA. And that's all I'm going to say, at the VA. That's what they said. So then he comes home. Oh, well, so I'll skip that. So being in the hospital, when he got out the hospital, before he got out the hospital, he noticed his vision was off, double vision. So he's never worn glasses, only maybe for computers. But other than that, he had 20/20 vision. So we left out of there with him not to be able to see properly, double vision, nystagmus.
I was blind for a couple of days almost.
Nystagmus, just very harsh visual issues, especially with a person with 20/20 vision. It's kind of scary, and so very lethargic, weak, and things like that. And so, you know, I had to go into, you know, as women, we kind of do what we have to do. And so researching how to get his strength back, and so he had to walk around with a walker, and I had to help him clean himself up after using the bathroom, bathing him in the bathing chair, all those things, you know, for a couple months, and someone to come sit with him, and while I went back to work, and just going back and forth to work, but sometimes you never know. It was just an up and down for a little bit, and so as a caregiver, dealing with that type of stuff, it can add a lot of stress on you, because you're constantly at a state of a state of anxiousness. And so I didn't realize that it bothered me so much, especially seeing him backing up, like before, you know, after the surgery, he ended up coding. And so I saw him going out. And so seeing someone dying in front of you can be very traumatic. And so that experience gave me PTSD, and I had to seek therapy for that. And so it's been just like a roller coaster of just learning how to care for him, and since 2023, now we're in 2025, and he's doing a whole lot better. But had to do with a lot of prayer and researching, taking vitamins, natural medicine.
But still, my quality of life, it's like, you know, what it seemed like, she knows this, like I don't drive and go do a lot of activity outside the house like I used to. I do a lot less than I used to.
Mm-hmm. No. But, you know, thank God he's doing a whole lot better. We're going to say that. And so, yeah, it's just, some days it's been harder than the next, but lately I can't say it's near what it was in 2023 and 2024. So we've come a long way. So, yeah.
What about, do you want to talk a little bit about like how you've been very supportive, like with the steroid? I was on steroids for a couple of years.
Yeah, been on steroids. My support is just researching on ways that he can at first decrease the steroids, so that doesn't have to take them as often.
Because we were told I'd have steroids the rest of my life.
Yeah, so we found this doctor, actually this lady from church, told us about this. He's actually an internal medicine doctor in Houston, but he also practiced, holistic medicine. And so he told us about licorice root, and so he started taking that, and that has helped tremendously. And telling us about the B12, for energy, and so I always say, do your own research. Do your own research.
Yeah, and I've done a lot of that since, after just getting off steroids now. Like I said, my big thing now is I have a benign tumor in my neck, my left side, and then back of my cerebellum as well. So just drying those up completely, that's my goal. Even though they're benign, I want to dry those up. So I've been doing a lot of my own research. For those of you that, like I said, one thing I've been looking into is B17 apricot seeds, the bitter apricot seeds. I've been recommended starting slow on those. So looked into that, started doing that today. And then also, she mentioned going to a more holistic doctor to try and see what else I can do to help myself. So definitely do your own research.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, would you say you're still doing a lot of PTSD, or just every once in a while?
No, I'm not dealing with it at all.
Okay.
Nope.
So anybody has any questions, feel free to leave comments. Also, this is really the first time I've had my wife on this channel, kind of, talking, not just caregiving, but like a little bit of the interracial relationships kind of thing. If there's anything you would like to hear from us, feel free to comment. I know if my wife wants to share, she has her own personal channel. She does individual stuff. So if you want to...
Tina Self-Talk.
Yep, give a plug for that. But Tina Self-Talk, if you want that channel, interested more in that one, just comment, let us know. We can reply to you with a link to her channel, so you can subscribe to her channel directly. Do you want to talk a little bit about what you talk about on your channel?
It's chatting. It can be from biblical things, situations, just real life. I try not to make it so like sad stuff or anything like that. I try to have fun. Wisdom, godly wisdom sometimes. Marital situation, like advice, things like that.
So if you're interested in that channel, like some comment, and I can get her channel over to you guys. You can subscribe to that. If you want to hear anything else between us on my channel here, so if there's any other things like, hey, I can see, you're a white guy, black woman, interracial. I mean, some people, maybe they don't care. Like I said, for me and my wife, it's just like, that's my wife, I'm her husband kind of thing. But I know some folks are curious, hey, I'm thinking about maybe going into a relationship like that, or I'm already into it and I'm dealing with X, Y, or Z. How are y'all dealing with it? Because we've been married for about 6 years, known each other for a little over 8 years. So we've been through a few things. Or if there's something you think you can share with us, that you've been married 20, 30 years, this type of relationship, something that you run into that you don't see anymore, or you think we might run into down the road, would love to hear about it. And as always, you like, subscribe, comment. We'd love to hear what you have to say. Anything else you want to share?
If you're thinking about dating outside of your race, go ahead and do it. Every relationship is going to have some type of issues. Like I said, if anything, we may have an issue with just regular marital issues. It has nothing to do with race. So I guess it depends on how your family is. My family, we all get along with his family. So if people are saying things behind our back, we don't know. But for the most part, the kids get along fine. So, yeah.
Anything else?
Nope.
All right, well, we really appreciate everybody tuning in today. Again, love to hear your thoughts on something else you'd like to hear, or hey, share more of this or that. Let us know. Happy to give you guys more details. And with that, we'll say have a great evening, and we'll talk to y'all soon. Again, this is Randy and Tina on Randy's Corner. Talk to you soon. Take care.